Good morning, everyone. Excuse me. It is Thursday, and this is Vintage Coffee and Lighters Live. See a few of you have already hit the thumbs up button. Appreciate that. What's up, Joseph? How's your week gone? I just refueled the yellow flame insert for the Zippo. You may have seen that video earlier in the week when I initially fueled it. Got a cup of decaf here with me today. Good morning, Professor. How are you today? Yeah, Joseph, it sounds like you may be in a rut. I got myself in one of those for a long period of time. Or maybe I misunderstand you. I don't want to mischaracterize your comment there. It just sounds like not too bad though, just like usual. Like it's just never really great. And I know what that feels like. I must have said something in the live stream last week because the professor commented about working the night shift, and that's something that I did for a long period of time, nights and overnights, and it can certainly um, make you feel like you're kind of in a lull. Yeah, there you go. I can't remember now. So are you at work right now, Joseph? And remind me where you're at. Are you in Nebraska? Seems like somebody last week was from Nebraska. It's kind of odd, the people you meet on the internet, and you know you. I mean, you really do meet people, make friends, and you even interact with them in certain cases. You know, in the lighter community, you got people mailing stuff back and forth, but you don't really think how, or guess I hadn't really thought that much about it. When you see them do like the um, Zippo anniversary thing and the lighter palooza 1, 2. I think they've done 4 of them now because they did one in between 2 and 3, or this one will be the actual 4th one coming up. But anyway, you see that and you just assume that all these people that you see on the Facebook lighter groups um, have all been to that. And there's one, probably the biggest, at least. Well, I don't know. I mean, he was a collector at one point. I think he has sold most of anything that doesn't have like a sentimental reason for him to have it in his collection. But he had a whole bunch. A guy named Rob Johnson, a bunch of really nice old lighters, unique things. The only other person that I can think of that I've seen in those Facebook lighter groups that has more and cooler and more unique Zippos is a guy named Rob Giaretta. But anyway, this guy Rob Johnson just mentioned that he was going to be at that Lighter Palooza 3 which I don't know, is that this? I can't remember now. It's coming up soon, if not this weekend. And anyway, I'm not sure. Oh, well, we were talking about making friends on the internet. Um, so yeah, it's uh, it's odd to feel like you know somebody, and yet I look at you guys every day or every week that we do the stream, as I see one of our oldest friends just showed up, Boo Rock Beer. Good morning, sir. Um, and at least his profile picture on YouTube has been the same as long as I have known him, so I recognize him right off bat, and I think I have some clue what he looks like. But some of you guys, I don't have any idea what you really look like in real life. You don't post videos or have your own picture in your profile, so it's kind of odd to feel like, and really, like I said, you do make friends on the internet. So to have these friends that you may have never even known what they look like, let alone seen them in person. Just one aspect of the cool world we live in right now. The advancements in technology and stuff like that, and just in my lifetime, is I would have, we used to all watch Star Trek and just dream about having that walkie-talkie. And we're still not, making people dematerialize and materialize somewhere else. But they can do way more with computers and communication than just that walkie-talkie. We're all carrying around, huge computers compared to the past, as far as the things that you can accomplish on them, the space that's available in such a little device. So, hello, yes, uh, I got distracted there, but our friend Boo Rock Beer was one of the early, um, one of the guys that was watching the videos early on when I started publishing 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, and was a really incredible source of encouragement for me. And a private message that he sent me in particular that really kind of helped me define what I was trying to do at that time. And I hope to be able to get back to doing it again, to where I'm publishing a video and being able to be kind of a daily part of people's lives. Like I said, over the course of the last few months, I've shifted my priority to the website. So if you're ever just wondering what's going on, I've been publishing a story or an article over there at least 2 days a week, but most weeks 3 times, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. This week I did Monday, the review on the Yellow Flame butane insert. And I think for tomorrow, I think I'm going to be writing an article about flints and what kind of flints you use in different lighters, and basically a flint review article. I may have to go look. I'm not sure if I've written flint repair articles, so yeah, I think I'm good on that. I think I can just go ahead and write the review article. Anyway, just kind of as I'm developing my site and the kind of articles that are written, and I went for a long streak there where I was writing the fiction stories that were pulling in elements of the vintage lighter hobby. So anyway, I digress again. Our friend Boo Rock Beer was a real source of encouragement for me back then, and kind of helped me to understand what I think helped the channel grow so fast. And that was just, putting those videos, and, there's people that that make YouTube a daily part of their life. That for however much time they sit down and they check out. And I'm like that some of the time, not all the time. Here the last couple of years, most of the time I've been too busy to I've watched church services on YouTube, and then I watch specific stuff when I need to figure out how to do something, you know, like on my car or plumbing that needs to be fixed or whatever that I didn't know how to do. Then I go to YouTube. Um, Disassembling a gun, I go to YouTube. Um, anyway, but like I said, there's so many people that make YouTube. It's like people used to sit down at the and watch the evening news. There's a good number of people that it's YouTube is where they're getting all their information. But even more than that, that incorporate YouTube into that. Maybe they're reading the Bible, they're praying, they have chores around the house like feeding their dogs and you know cooking dinner and that. But YouTube is worked in there somewhere during the day, and a lot of times a specific time of day. And I'm a real fan of like talk radio, sports radio. I listen to a lot of sports talk radio. Way back when, like in the late '80s, early '90s, when around here there was just one guy. His name's Al Eshbach. Now it's multiple stations. But also, I'm a fan of kind of the like people that grew up in Oklahoma will remember. I can't remember the name of the show now, but there was a guy named Don Wallace that went out fishing and took local celebrities hunting and fishing, and um, that and talk radio is kind of what I've kind of been my inspirations, pointing down here toward this little diorama to show off lighters and give you demonstrations of how to repair a certain lighter. Anyway. Oh, Joseph is in Taiwan. Yeah, I don't know where I got Nebraska at. Yeah, we talked about the Taiwan Zippo last week. That's right. I thought that I might run into some of you guys, Joseph, and I can't remember the other, uh, or was it Shaggy? Shaggy something maybe. I thought I might run into some of you guys in the comments. I did have a conversation or two with Azrael over on Discord during the week. That was fun. So, yeah. Yeah, the professor. We had a few newcomers last week. We had a good outcome. I can't remember. I think that was that on Wednesday? There you go. And what do you do for a job, Joseph? So you speak is Taiwanese? Is that a language or and so you're just typing in English? You're not using a translator or anything like that? Oobla doobla Dylan, what's up? Glad to have you join us this week. Yeah, and Burok Beer says, I came across your channel and videos, which were really fruitful at a time when I started interesting in lighters. Yeah, I've wondered in the last, I don't know, however long it was that we haven't communicated, which I've seen your posts over on Twitter here and there. Twitter doesn't get my attention very often. Um, it's weird the way that social media grows and or like a channel or page or profile or whatever you call it. When I first started and created the website, I created a profile on Twitter, Pinterest. There were times that I devoted, I can't tell you how much time I spent, posting things over to Pinterest, and I probably should get back to that. But it grew really fast. The Facebook page and group both took forever. and they're just now getting up to where it's really kind of fun, to where I get um, some responses when I post something over there. And the group is, it's more like any Facebook Lighter group. It's just, you know, an offshoot of our page. But there's like about 60 people in that right now, and you can feel free to post anything you want over there, any trades, proposals, things like that, to anybody, or just to me, whatever you might have in mind. You can always use the messenger over there. Um, and I just realized too, I've been trying to post when I run into different lighter content on Facebook, like our friend Eastwa Doon Flam, which um, I don't have it right in front of me, so I'm not going to try to say what his actual name is. And I don't even know if that's his actual name. Whatever his Facebook profile is, he's posted some things over there, and there's some other people that post things under a personal profile, but they leave them shareable. So I've been trying to share those over to the dependableflame.com group. But anyway, check both of those out if you get a chance. But Twitter was one that I can't even remember now whether whether the it gained any followers or not. I just remember that I don't think it did, if it was much. But I posted a lot of links to articles and stuff over there, and YouTube videos over there at different times, and just never got any traction. So maybe I don't understand how Twitter works. I've used Twitter before, kind of chatting with people, like when local sporting events, when the Thunder were really big, and or OU football, things like that. But the Pinterest channel kind of, um, I don't know what you kind of leveled out. And like I said, I haven't even been posting that much over there recently. Um, I post videos over there occasionally when I'm posting on a regular basis. But anyway, that Facebook channel and page finally did, like I said, gain some traction to where now they feel like it's really fun. But YouTube too, I think that posting a video every morning, I've talked before about Zippo Fanatic 77 and how he got a hold of me, said, hey, if you want some advice on how to grow your channel, email me, let me know. So I emailed him, and really he was just complimenting me on everything I was doing. Just said make the videos longer, make them a minimum of 8 minutes long, and so that's what I did. And like I said, I started. I can't remember if at that point I was publishing every day, but I think maybe I had already started publishing every day. And man, it's just like it, and it's been growing at pretty steady clip ever since. You know, Nothing I'm getting rich off of or anything like that, but encouraging. So Facebook and YouTube have been the two recently that, and like I said, I know there's a lot of followers, at least compared to that YouTube. I don't know that YouTube profile has any followers at all. Yeah, I was a big fan of Star Trek. Of course, I knew what Star Trek was before Star Wars. Star Wars came out in '77. I was 6 years old. I can remember well before that Star Trek, and I remember getting some of those. They were taller figures. They were kind of like the bigger GI Joes, but maybe not quite that big, but definitely smaller than like regular sports action figures. They're like 3.5 inches tall. But I can remember getting those for Christmas. That was before Star Wars even came out. But Star Wars was pretty big when I was a kid too, and Star Wars is still big with my kids. Um, it's, yeah, Star Wars is probably even bigger with them than it was with us. I haven't seen the original series all the way through either, Scott. But but TNG, is that the next generation? See, the only one that I saw maybe a movie or two at some point, Um, but I don't know that I've ever sat down and watched an episode of any of them other than um, the original series. They used to play one of them, which I can't. It may have been the Next Generation. Is that the one with John Luke Picard or whatever his name is? They used to play that after the news on one of the channels locally. It was syndicated here at 10:30, um, like on Sunday nights for several years. That's the only real exposure that I have to any of them, other than a couple of like the older movies, not the movies with the newer people in them. Okay, so you're a security guard and you speak Chinese. Cool. So it seems like Chinese would be quite a bit different from English. Are you having a? Uh, how long have you been learning it? I wouldn't have known you weren't an American by the way you type. Have you known English for a good while, or did you learn it in school? Security guard does seem like it would be, especially an overnight security guard, might be a good opportunity to catch up on some YouTube. Okay, so sometimes you use a translator as you're typing. Yeah, I write a lot for the website. Each one of those articles is a minimum of 1,000 words, probably closer to 1,300, and so 2 or 3 times a week. So I probably average, 25, 2,600. I know probably more like probably average easy 3,000 words a week, which doesn't seem like I don't know. It might sound like a lot. It does in a certain context. Um, but anyway, I check. I can't tell you how much that I um, double check a word or the spelling, and even though the my computer, man, that word processor on that MacBook is awesome. Really is outstanding the way that it auto corrects and is. I don't know. I guess maybe that's a benefit of AI right there. But uh, that word processor that I use is it's unbelievable. Yeah, good point, Burak. The I That's one thing I probably need to try. I was over on Instagram last night, and I think maybe that was where I may have seen Scott. Do you have a couple of profiles on Instagram, or does the Professor's Garage have two different? I can't remember now what I was seeing over there, but Eastwa du Flam posts over there, and so anyway, I was watching these different videos on there, and yeah, I created a. I think I had a personal Instagram account at one point, but um, never really used it. Kind of thing where my phone it kind of synced up with my Facebook friends or whatever. Anyway, I never really took the time to know how it works. Maybe I ought to try to create some videos to post over there. Or can I cross post? Can I post YouTube videos onto Instagram, or do I have to create new videos? But yeah, Twitter definitely has not been fruitful for me promoting the website. Yeah, I guess we'll see. Um, You know, it's weird. I don't, you know, none of I don't really have any. My biggest performing videos are the repair videos, and but just the, you know, like those regular daily show and tell videos that are 8 to 10 minutes long. At least initially, you'll see later on some of them will spike. You know, it's like they get featured on homepage somewhere or something. Um, but most of those videos, they don't get, at least initially, 100 views. Is so it's like I'm not really getting um, any favors from the algorithm anyway. Doesn't seem like it. Now with the shorts, and man, it's still screwy. Like I tried to create a short to, well, I did, but it didn't end up letting me upload it right. I left it simply because I had already embedded it, or I created it to embed into that um, article on Monday. But I did it from the laptop, from the MacBook, and rather it just uploaded it like a regular video. So it won't play full screen on the phone like it should. It's really pissed me off. Um, but I can't remember what my point was now. Oh, so the reason that I wanted to post that over in the shorts feed is because the shorts, there's the algorithm definitely has something going on. That shorts get shown off somewhere. Um, because, you know, just depending on what it is and whether it's an interesting subject or just some off the wall thing. You know, I posted a short of a yard over here in the neighborhood that I thought was really cool with a bunch I mean, it's nothing but cactuses in it, maybe some other succulents, but, you know, really strange yard. um, and I think that's still only got about 50 views. But these other videos lately, even that one that I posted the day I was babysitting, where I spun the egg inside that little round wood container, um, they get a spike. Those shorts get a spike, and that's why I wanted that short that I created, lighting this out in the wind. That's why I wanted to post it in the shorts feed, but it's still wonky. I guess you have to, in order to get it into the shorts feed, it has to be posted from a mobile device. That's what they told me the first time I tried to create a short um, 2 years ago, and it wouldn't let me upload them right. So I guess it's still the same way. So what I should have done was taken the video and then from the mobile device, push that over, which I had it on the mobile device. I took it on my phone. Um, but I should have just, uh, you know, downloaded that into YouTube from their interface, and it would have worked fine. It was because I did it on the laptop. I sent it to the laptop in the first. That's what was. I don't know why I even sent it to the laptop. Anyway, strange ways. I don't know about always about the algorithm and all that good stuff. Hello, our friend here from the Ukraine. I'm not going to. I'm not sure that that's not exactly English characters. Would I be wrong to say Anapin or something like that? Let me know how to say your name. But glad to have you with us from Ukraine. Azriel, hello. Glad that you have joined us again. I was just talking a minute ago about our conversations this week on Discord. Okay, so some from school, some you picked up on your own, and then some from your buddy in Idaho. All right, cool, cool. And how old a fellow are you, Joseph? I was trying. I can't remember now what it was. I was seeing two of something. I thought it was professors. Yeah, like Professor 333 or something like that. Yeah, well, Joseph, what I was doing was, posting, you can post links, but what was weird is I never knew, like from the device that I was posting them on, it looked like it wasn't displaying the full image. So it made me wonder what other people were seeing. Was it like a collapsed version rather than like a full thumbnail? You know what I'm saying? A, you know, uh, more attractive, giving them a picture. It's like, I don't understand sometimes when I post. I've done it from the laptop and from the iPads, and which one of my iPads just, I don't know, may have completely crapped out on me right before the one I usually monitor the stream on. Um, anyway, depending on when I post an article over to Facebook, sometimes it'll post the initial image from the post into the link that people are seeing. So it's a bigger, more attractive looking, kind of presentation of the link. Where otherwise it just kind of it posts it just with the logo. It tells you the name of the article, but it just has my website logo there, and I don't know, it's just more generic looking. And I can't seem to figure out any rhyme or reason for why it does it that way. Andri, is that good enough? I just want to know how to refer to you correctly. Hopefully, you're going to be a regular contributor here. Good deal. We were talking, Azrael, about, I didn't mention anything specific, just that we had, I thought after I was having several newcomers last week, I might run into them in the comments or, chatting somewhere else. But I mentioned that you and I had discussed over on, had some discussions over on Discord, but no, I didn't mention what we had discussed. It's kind of funny. I can't remember if I filled this up last week, but of course, I think it's been a little over a week, but these others were out of fuel already. And somebody messaged me a few weeks ago about the soft yellow flame fitting in a vintage look, so we will put it in there here in a moment. Oh yeah, yeah. I just realized that this morning too. Um, that Zorro 690. I meant to watch that video, man. I forgot. I'll get over there and watch that video. But yeah, you had posted the video of the 41 replica with the star on it that you were saying is a fake Zippo. A fake Zippo that we couldn't tell the difference. Yeah, I think I did. That's what I was saying. Didn't I? I think I refilled this one, and I can't remember now. I know I did this one last week. I lit it at one point when I came in over here over the weekend, but I think I lit or fueled up one of these others. But anyway, they're not lighting right now. None of them. But I think I did. I think I fueled this one up. If not, because I hadn't done a stream before last week. Surely that didn't still full from practically a month ago, or not full. It's kind of a waning flame, but it's still lighting. Yeah, see, barely. So maybe it was a month ago. Maybe I'm wrong. The round lighter, yeah, like I said, maybe it was a month ago. I am going to make a video. I wish I had a 35 replica, and maybe even the original, the 32 replica, or yeah, the one that has the first edition and second edition. Because I ran into an issue this week, which I'm not going to get into exactly yet, but one of these inserts does not freely go into the other like I think it should. So I don't know what that is. Anyway, I'll talk about that in the video. Make sure to keep your eye out for that video if you want to be a part of that discussion. Hey Naphtha, glad that you have joined us. How are things in Tulsa this morning? It's beautiful here in Oklahoma City, but we're supposed to get there. The weathermen were beside themselves this morning and last night. I mean, they've been talking about it the whole time. Okay, so the vintage look, let me get this out of the way before I forget. And then I'll get back over to the chat. But the question was if a vintage look case would accept the yellow flame insert. And you can see there, fits in it just fine. Opens, closes. I don't know, it might even be better in the vintage look. I really like the vintage look. It gives you a little bit more leverage closing it and opening it. I don't know, somebody whose hands are a little bit limited like mine, I think the vintage look is a good option. Dylan didn't like the button. Dylan thought that is too bickish, and Gavin Lannon agreed with him. But I don't think it's a problem. It works pretty well. I mean, it seems pretty natural. And you know, I've had the Zippo Blue, and that's a big clunky file wheel and mechanism, and the lever you got to hold down for the gas. It wasn't ergonomic or user friendly at all. It's pretty simple. If I can use it this easy, then most people can. My hands are terrible. So I'm going to try not to use this or be lighting it just to light it, just to have a better idea of how long it'll last. But yeah, so far, man, me, this is a major upgrade, and for I think they were I think they had it listed for $16.96 with a make offer, and they had it. I can't remember. It seemed like it said there were several hundred sold or several hundred still left, whatever. So I offered 15 and it automatically rejected it, and I offered 16 and it accepted it. So $16 free shipping. It's well worth that. Easy. And like I said, way better on the hands, way easier to operate than the Blue. Hello, J. Rowe. Glad that you have joined us today. Been a while. I'd mentioned you in some of the other streams. You and Zippo Daily Fix and Bill Calkins. It's funny how people kind of rotate in and out, but Glad to have you with us this week. Yeah, and I know that I'm not even looking down at the chat just yet, but I need to remember that I'm more blessed than most to not have the heart of my day um, taken up by you know responsibilities that I can't determine. So I'm blessed in the position I'm in to be able to. Well, and you guys know I've got other things. A couple weeks there that I was babysitting or had a sick family member where um, I wasn't able to do it then. So I'm glad any time though that any of you are able to join. Yeah, we've been stormy on and off here too, Natha. Um, but it's been a little bit better the last couple days. I don't remember it raining in the last couple days, but I guess it's going to tonight and a little bit later than normal. I don't know. 7 o'clock seems a little bit. They're acting like it's not even going to get started here until 7 o'clock. By the way, these little, I'm assuming probably a chrome plated. I don't know if it's steel or what the base metal is, but you find these in smoke shops. It's a dab tool. This is a really good. Um, you don't necessarily want to use it for a Zippo that is tightened down real tight, like they come from the factory, but you can use one end for a screwdriver that won't tighten it down too tight, and then you can also use the other end to purge the gas from the fill valve. So you can pick those up for usually $1 or $2 at a dispensary or smoke shop. Yeah, I don't. Have you ever used a blue, John? The blue was a really clunky mechanism. Um, I don't know. I think if this was any bigger, it might. I think it just kind of it seems really natural to me. I mean, my hands go numb after you know a few consecutive seconds of doing the same thing for one time. At one time or for that period of time. Um, yeah, it's. I think it's pretty. Maybe I just have a low expectation. Let me catch back up on the. Uh, Joseph said, I got a brass Imco lighter for a week now. Its case doesn't heat up fast as the stainless steel one does, which is good to prevent my hands from scalding. Yeah, I've had a few of those. You're talking about the round Imco, the slide sleeve kind of like the Bowers slide sleeve. I've had a few of those, but I can't remember even having to dig a flint out of one or anything. Any one that I had was in good working order, and I moved it along pretty quick. Never really had one that I used on a regular basis. I had a Japanese copy that I may have even done a video on that. That might have been the one that I used or had the most experience with. If you're talking about that same kind of lighter. So, what makes you say that, Azrael? Because they were such a instrumental lighter company. They certainly put out a lot more different models than Zippo did. And was Dubsky involved with IMCO? We're both Austrian. So, Burak Beer, what makes you say that about the? Is that like the ability to light it off of the IMCO compared to the Zippo? That's my big criticism with Zippo is in the wind. It's a horrible flame to try to light. Now, a commercially produced cigarette that you just need to barely get a flame on the end of that thing and inhale for it to light, fine. But the kind of things that I'm lighting, that you put in pipes or stuff in cones, um, those things require a little bit more consistent flame than something that I'm trying to chase around and just catch for a brief moment. Yeah, I guess when you look at it like designs, yeah, there are. Zippo's had a bunch of designs, especially what since they started painting them, painting the whole things. I know they painted some of them black crackles and the refrigerators, and but they didn't really start painting a ton of them until seems like the 80s, maybe 90s. And now you got all kinds of wraps and different processes to get these images onto the lighters and really cool stuff. Like the 540. Still use it here and there. It's in and out of my rotation. Like I said, I'm pretty sure I fueled it last week. Yeah, I've used. I haven't. I've owned several MCOs and even had to dig some flint out of a few of those. It's been a while though. I'm trying to remember. I think was it an MCO that I made the video of where I put the whole thing into the concentrated vinegar, which in hindsight I'm kind of surprised that worked the way it did with some of that sheet metal type stuff that's used in some of those squeeze lighters. But the one that I had used the most, I had a couple of them early, and then I think I had a couple more just a year or two ago of that. Was the Sunflower 6506. We talked about that before on here. May have talked about that with you, Azrael. Anyway, that Sunflower lighter was a really dependable lighter too. I think that's basically a clone of the IMCO. Hello, is it Jaime or Jamie? I only ask. I would have assumed it was Jaime, but my wife's name is Jamie, and it's funny over the years seeing how many people want to spell that the way your name's spelled. So let me know. Is it Jaime or Jamie? Yeah, I was just talking about that the Lighter Palooza 3, John. I was talking about that at the beginning, um, and kind of how you create friends on the internet, and some of them you don't even know. Maybe the ones that you connect with over in the Facebook groups, you got a little bit better idea of, but even some of them don't have real pictures in their profiles. So, you make real friends with people that you may not even know what they look like. But we were talking about the lighter palooza and all that. I would love to be able to come to that one of these days, but I will definitely not be there this year. Do you have you been before? I assume you have. And are you there all weekend? Do you go to the dinner, hang out with all of them, all that kind of stuff? You talking about in the middle of the night last night, Naphtha? Your weather radio was going off? Yeah, Joseph, I see there that Azrael is complimenting you for the idea, and that is a good idea. That's one of the reasons why I try to carry a butane lighter and a petrol lighter, is because I don't like running out. But this past week, it's one of the reasons why I want to figure out how much I can get out of this or expect out of it in a week. And of course, to do that, I might have to quit fidgeting with it and lighten it every time I decide I want to. But um, it lasted about 5 days, and it didn't, it's fine. But I don't carry butane with me, so if I get caught out and about, so I'm, even though I think this is a pretty dependable option, and I probably will not be walking around with 5 lighters in my pocket like I have a lot in the past. It'll probably be this one, and then I will at least try to keep one petrol lighter fueled up as well. I may leave it. I think I am going to leave it in the vintage look now, though. So the next time this shows up, the video that you will see for this next is still going to be in this case, because I made that video when I was fueling it up before this live stream. But then after that, the next time you see this insert, it'll probably be in this vintage look still. I really love this lighter, but I've already put a pretty good amount of wear to it. A few scuffs in the paint, some concrete bite where it fell off or it didn't fall off. Well, yeah, I mean, it's not like I did it on purpose. It was in my lap when I stood up from a lawn chair off a third floor balcony. And that was really the extent of that. I think, well, maybe this too, but I think this stuff here may have happened later. So it landed pretty good. I don't want to get it more damaged than I have to, but I still do like using it. And that's the original insert for it, 2017. I should have been paying more attention to what was in my hand there. Which one are you talking about? Chinese made? The one that you use, or the you're talking about the sunflower? Yeah, sunflower is definitely Chinese made. I think that was the first Chinese made lighter um, to be imported into the United States. I remember reading that somewhere. Jaime, I am not a cigarette smoker, not a tobacco smoker. I don't use tobacco of any kind anymore. I have been in the past a cigarette smoker, and also a tobacco chewer and dipping snuff for a long. That was the filthiest habit of all, and the last one of those for me to kick. But I smoke other things. Joseph's a smoker. Pall Mall. Never smoked Pall Mall. I've had a Pall Mall lighter. Um, Pall Mall advertising lighter. Can't remember what the. It looks similar to. It's one of those that kind of went under a few different brands. My last cigarette brand was Parliament, full flavored Parliaments. Hello, O. Henningsen. Glad that you have joined us from Denmark. I hope that your day is going well. Hey, you calling this a Bob Ross lighter? Okay, Burak, maybe I need to check that out. That's one that a lot of different lighters I've just used long enough to make sure they were working, and it's not like I've necessarily used them for a whole fuel cycle even. Um, so maybe I need to check out an IMCO for that reason and just see. Because, a Zippo, about the max you're going to get out of a Zippo petrol insert is, seems like about 5 days. Sometimes not even that long. Um, so yeah, maybe I ought to check out. You talking about the 6800? It's kind of like a, well, it is a a semi-automatic, isn't it? You push the thumb lever and it lights as you push it. Jaime, is that what you? Is that what? Are you saying that is the correct way to say it, Jaime? Yeah, new version pen pals. Yeah, I had a pen pal when I was in the 7th grade. And I don't remember their name or even what country they were from. I do remember the class and the teacher that required me to acquire that pen pal. That's cool, man. Like I said, I hope to be able to one of these days, um, and it looks like there would definitely be some opportunity to see some lighters you don't see every day, and it would always be nice to. As I was talking about earlier, you don't here on the internet. You may never even know what somebody looks like or what their voice sounds like. So always good to meet people in person and put an actual face to the name. But yeah, that's a good description there, Jaime. Bob Ross lighter. It's a really, really pretty lighter. One of my favorites. And that one was free from Marlboro. I didn't even have to spend points on it. Excuse me. You having hailstorms today, Jaime, in Fort Worth? Yeah, I've been to Fort Worth several times. Fort Worth is pretty much in the same neighborhood as Oklahoma City, at least as far as you know. Azrael being in Indonesia, and Joseph being in Taiwan, and the professor being in Montana, and old Henningsen being in Denmark, Burak Beer, I believe, is in Turkey, and of course NAFTA, he's just right up the road. John is in, are you in Mississippi, John? Somewhere in the South. So yeah, we got a little bit of proximity here with some of us, but we also are spread out all over the world. Ah, okay, Joseph. I see what you're saying. The ones that are being sold on Amazon and eBay now, the ones that say "come of Austria" rather than "made in Austria." And the answer to your question, Joseph, is yes. And that's that's definitely something that I wouldn't be like show and tell. I might do that on the channel sometime, but definitely not a live stream. It's a big no-no on a live stream. But yes, there are some around the house. But you know, there've been times in my life where hunting was pretty. It was pretty big. It occupied a lot of my time, um, and it was a lot of fun. With family and friends, and taking my kids and going with my dad and brother and brothers-in-law and cousins and grandparents even. I started hunting here in the state of Oklahoma when I was 8 years old. And of course, they had us fishing as soon as they could stand us up with a rod in their hand. So, yeah, general background. It's not a strange thing here in Oklahoma for, people to have weapons in their home. But I will say this, Joseph, it's something that I have come to believe is, I didn't think that it would ever change, and I didn't think it should, but just from my own understanding of what I read in the Bible, I don't think there's any justification, at least from a Christian point of view, for us to have all the guns that we have and continue to have the death that we have by gun violence in America. And I have plenty of guns. I'm not against them. But I don't know, something about the way they hold people accountable for them, or I don't know if the answer is in how you sell them, but something needs to be done. And like I said, it's an American thing. It's not a Christian thing. So for me, it's not an essential thing. And I really have come to believe that we probably need to do something in some way to curb all this gun violence that we have. Yeah, that's I meant to mention a while ago after Burak had mentioned the IMCO and getting better fuel economy out of it. That is the one knock that I have against the Cygnus roller lighters. And they're my favorite lighter, even, I don't care. They're still my favorite lighter. But it's a very, you mentioned it's the IMCO having a relatively small reservoir. I think that's the basic issue with the Cygnus. It's just with the wadding that is in there, there's just not that much space for fuel. And so it just evaporates rather quickly. Because you can have a, I don't have any of them over here, any of the pocket lighters, they're all over at the place in Deep Deuce. But you can have a good seal, and these table lighters are much better. They get pretty good fuel economy. I would expect to fill one of these up, you're going to get at least a month out of it. But even in the pocket lighter, if you've got a good gasket on it, and they all seem to fit pretty tight at the snuffer. But those things, a Cygnus, man, if it makes it 3 days, it's a miracle. The pocket models, and I'm not even just talking about the short ones. I don't know that I've ever carried a short one long enough to discern how many days they take. But I'm telling you, those regular pocket lighters, 3 days tops, no more. It's crazy. Do you have the same seasons in Denmark that we have here? Are you in summertime right now in Denmark, Ole Henningsen? Yeah, I think I've used the 6800, but like I said, not more than just to just to show it off in a video, light it up. That may have been a weak strike on my part, but that's only the second time that I've struck that and it not light that I can remember. Yeah, I've never had any of them up against each other at the same time. I'm not sure what the size differences are. Yeah, I've watched a lot of hunting TV myself, Jaime. I was talking earlier about a television program we used to have here in Oklahoma called, I don't remember what the name of the program was. It may have been something about Wallace Wildlife, but it was a guy named Don Wallace. And he'd take, Barry Switzer fishing or, Billy Tubbs dove hunting and, just local celebrities that he would go and do these outdoor activities with. So I watched a lot of that as a kid. But even in the past 10, 15 years, um, what's the name of that? Willie Robertson, the Duck Dynasty guy. There's a there's a hunting show with him and Jason Aldean and Luke Bryan. And I can't remember even who the others are, but there's like a couple of baseball players. Can't remember who they are right now. I don't remember their names. Adam LaRoche, maybe Chipper Jones. I can't remember now. Not Chipper Jones. Adam LaRoche that was on that one. Anyway, that was a really good show. Watched a lot of those here. I don't know, 10 years or so ago. Yeah, another one. You talking about it, explaining about it, and all more than just about the kill shot. Oh man, I can't. What's that guy's name? It's a Canadian guy, and he's got a daughter that's in. She does outdoor stuff too. Um, I'll think of it sooner or later. One of you might know, but he did a show called Uncharted, and he went to some places. I mean, some dangerous places around the world, um, and was like there with these tribes of these particular areas that had been hunting in this way for who knows how many decades and um, drawing a blank. What's bigger than a decade? Not a is it a millennia? No, not a millennia. Centuries. Over all these centuries and maybe even millennia. So yeah, I think there's something to be understood about that may seem barbaric to some people, especially people in America that think that their meat is made at the grocery store. But we've been eating meat for a long time. Hello, Mark. Glad that you have joined us. I believe I first became acquainted with Mark a week or so ago in the comments on the YouTube videos, but since then, I'm pretty sure I have seen your name over on the DependableFlame.com group and page, so I appreciate that, Mark. Talked about that a little bit earlier, and I'm trying to post some other content over there. And of course, when I get back to publishing videos on a regular basis, then I'll be publishing links to those over there too. But that group especially, feel free if you got lighters that you want to trade, you just want to offer to anybody, you can make a deal right there in the comments if you want. And you're obviously at risk with each other, trust with each other, so work that out. I've never had any problem with anybody I've ever traded with. We talked last week about my friend Donald Hine, or maybe it was a couple weeks ago, with Old Henningsen, a few weeks ago. But I've traded with Donald back and forth to Denmark, and no problem. I've traded with David Ward. I can't remember exactly where David lives, but here in the States, somewhere here in the South. And then, of course, I've gotten things in the mail and mailed things to ZF77 and Dylan DePie and Zippo Daily Fix and who else? Yeah, I don't remember any other trading, but yeah, it's all been good experiences with me. So until it is a problem, I'm not going to worry about it. I've never, I know some of those groups don't like to have sales posts or even to trade. They don't want you to trade on there either. They consider a trade proposal to be a sales post. But I don't have any problem with it. I wish we could have more of it. I really like that Zippo and Vintage Lighter Deal or No Deal page because that's sometimes you'll see people post on there and say that they're open for a trade. Saw somebody do that last week or maybe the week before. But anyway, glad to have you along, Mark. Okay, so we're in summer too, our Old Henningsen, so must be about the same kind of weather cycle. We'll be into the trying to stay under 110 before you know it, but it's been nice so far. Still not even sure if we've hit 90. I thought we did about a month ago, but they said last week that we still hadn't done it. So what do you think it is, Burak? Do you think that it is? You don't think it's not that the aluminum is a porous material. It's not like it's ductile iron or cast iron or anything. I mean, it's out of solid bar aluminum. Or yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't think that the material would make a difference either in the thread. And like I said, especially a lot of times, the all the ones that I've had that I used had a good gasket on the fuel screw. But they don't have a gasket or anything up at the snuffer. But the spring holds it tight. I don't know. Compared to, I just would have thought with it having the gasket on the bottom, it would have lasted longer than a Zippo, but it doesn't. It doesn't even last as long as a Zippo. And that's no big deal to me. I mean, they're beautiful little lighters, and when they're fueled, they work great. That's why I love them. But it's definitely an issue that the fuel in them just doesn't last very long. And that's not just me trying to turn people off from them so that I can buy them easier. Because anytime I see one, especially the pocket models, short or tall, short or regular, um, if it's just plain chrome or not chrome, silver tone or gold tone, probably not. But if it's color that I don't have, or an advertisement that I don't have, or even a different brand name on the bottom, something other than Cygnus, Penguin Cygnus, then I'm probably going to try to buy that lighter. But I'd be curious what you mean by the aluminum not sufficient enough. I don't know. Maybe there's something about aluminum. I don't know. I don't know. Could be something about the metal that caused it to evaporate out of there quicker. I hadn't considered that. Yeah, I don't think I've seen either of those, Professor. But I'm familiar. I think I've got an idea of the shows you're talking about. I just never actually sat down and watched an episode. I was trying to remember. I mean, I really used to watch a lot of that stuff. It's pretty entertaining, just kind of the. Well, I mean, it's kind of like the thrill of winning an eBay auction for a lighter that you've wanted for a long time. You know, hunting for an animal that you're going to eat is, it's an experience, and to me, it's a valid pursuit. Not just killing to kill, but you're going to eat this animal. You're going to use it. This didn't happen for no reason. Um, but there's also something to having a set of antlers show up in front of you that you've never seen before, um, and having the opportunity to harvest an animal like that. It's get your adrenaline going. Yeah, it had felt like that here, Joseph, until just this week. It seemed like it was raining every single day, and it was kind of crappy. But yeah, it's been nice the last few days. Dry, but hopefully tonight everybody will be safe. Hopefully everybody's safe at home and has somewhere to get out of the way of a tornado by the time this all hits. If it ends up being as bad as they're acting like it is, which sometimes it seems like these weathermen know exactly what they're talking about, and sometimes it seems like they don't have a clue. But with the thunderstorms, especially, it seems like they're getting better about that. The snow, I don't know. I still don't trust them with the snow around here. But the thunderstorms, they got a little bit better idea about the thunderstorms. Hello, no, nope. Glad that you have joined us today. It's an interesting username. So, Mark, are you a Zippo guy or all around lighter guy? What's your passion or your specialty? Man, as far as your stripped fuel screw, I have seen people in the Facebook lighter groups that say that believe it was mineral spirits, that you could soak that screw in mineral spirits. But I don't know what mineral spirits might do. I don't know what kind of Facebook light, or not Facebook, Ronson lighter you have. But does it have a leather? Is it going to any possibility that mineral spirits would um, contaminate any part of the lighter or compromise some enamel or anything like that, or is it just a like an engine turn, no leather, no paint, nothing like that? If so, you might give that a shot. Set it down in a little bit of mineral spirits. I don't know, uh, possibility something like WD-40, some kind of silicone spray. There's also a possibility of concentrated vinegar. But just about anything that you do like that, any kind of liquid's going to necessitate that you're going to have to change the wadding and the wick out, because you're probably going to contaminate the wadding or the wick. But that's not really an issue. I've got videos to demonstrate for you how to do all that. But I've got several lighters, or lighters that I ended up selling for parts later. Or, yeah, I've had several over the years that I just couldn't get the fill screw out, and I wasn't willing to try hard enough to do further damage to the lighter than had already been done. So I'm open to suggestions. If somebody wants to tell me how to do it, I'll give it an attempt. And I may have even tried that once or twice with the vinegar. I just can't remember what happened. I don't know that I've ever used it for that specific purpose. But it'll eat away corrosion and through some gunk, and definitely worth a try if it's not going to hurt. Like I said, any artwork or any other embellishment on the lighter. Yeah, the other option, of course, would be to drill it out in one way or another. Maybe using an easy out type back out bit. You might be able to get a better bite on it than you're able to with a screwdriver or with knurled edges, or however you're trying to get it out now. But it's definitely one of the more difficult parts of. It's just like sometimes drilling out a tube, you'll run a lighter. I mean, I've done it. It happens. Sometimes, um, sometimes you don't. You're not able to get the screws out. So you must at least have a pretty big collection, Mark, if you've got a whole set of Camel Joes. And have you joined the Zippo vintage lighter deal or no deal? That's a pretty cool page too, Mark, for buying and selling. Yeah, I've definitely hunted rabbits too, Professor. I've hunted rabbits and squirrels and eaten both, and dove, and I never hunted turkey. A lot of my family are big turkey hunters, but I've eaten plenty of wild turkey, and of course deer. I've hunted deer my whole life. Of course, when I was a kid, there wasn't that many deer around here. The population was pretty paltry. But by the I don't know, late '90s or early 2000s, the population was back up to where it's actually fun. I mean, you can go out and hunt and expect to fill your tag, and so yeah, it's a good time. That I don't know. Well, from obviously, like I said, I started when I was 8 years old, and up until I was in my late teens or early 20s when, I got preoccupied with my own family and my kids growing up and things. So for about 10 years there, let's just say 12 years maybe, when I was a kid, and then again about the year 2000 was when my brother and I started going during black powder. And I've actually probably over the course of my life, and when I was a kid, it was mostly rifle, but as an adult, I've probably done a lot more black powder hunting than I have hunting with an actual cartridge rifle in my hands. Yes, Joseph, I've heard of the Auto Lux. Go and type in to YouTube Dependable Flame Auto Lux, and it should come up with a um, gambling or playing card motif lighter. Black was it? Was it black lacquer? It was, I believe, black lacquer on brass. But yes, really cool lighter that I flipped on eBay. I remember the day that I bought it and where I was at when I bid on it, and um, yeah, it was sold in an eBay auction. I can't remember if I knew who the seller was or not. But one of those where they started them pretty low, and I bought that lighter for less than $15, all in, shipping and all. Less than it seems like I paid $10 or $11 for the actual lighter, then plus shipping. And I ended up selling it for I can't remember exactly, somewhere in the $135, $150 range. Really cool, seemed to be well made, and the artwork, the like I said, I think it was black lacquer. Really cool lighter. So you're talking about, Joseph? You found somebody that's selling. Um, I think that's different from the Mayon Auto Lux, Burak. I could be wrong though. I think I've had a Mayon Auto Lux, which is kind of like a KW mechanism. Does that sound right? I could be wrong, but I think there's two different lighters. I think this lighter, is it French? I can't remember. I'd have to go back and look at the video. I should have written articles about all those lighters before I let them go. That was a really cool lighter, that Auto Lux. It's a roller lighter. It's a roller lighter, pretty typical roller lighter size, maybe a little bit more broad. Yeah, now that does sound familiar. Maybe I'm misunderstanding which Mayon you're talking about, Boo Rock. I hope I'm not confusing the matter. But I do know that you can type in that Auto Lux. I don't know if there are that many Auto Lux. You may be able to find it just by typing in Auto Lux into the YouTube search. But definitely, you add Dependable Flame in there, it should show up. So, Mark, yeah, you mentioned that in one of your comments last week. So these the Exotech, and I can't remember the name of them. How much you pay for those lighters? And these are basically just a modern manufactured petrol lighter that's got an improved way of sealing off the fuel, right? It's got some kind of sturdy O-rings, kind of like the Zippo fuel canister has. Yeah, for some reason I was thinking Mayan was German, but that was probably just some kind of preconceived thing in my head. Okay, yeah, I agree with that. It's definitely a good skill to have. I have, there are definitely some tricks. Candles can make things a little bit easier out in the wild, and of course, not letting that fire, basically maintaining your embers, that ember bed, not letting that go out. Um, in most cases, if you get up and stoke the fire a little bit in the morning, and then stoke the fire at lunch to heat up your lunch, and then by dinner time, you're just going to be able to rekindle it. You're never actually going to have to restart it once you've got your bed of coals going. So, but maybe you're not. Maybe you're doing something where you're not always in the same place. Maybe you're moving where like most of the hunting that I've done, you're always going back to camp at night, or when we were hunting in southwestern Oklahoma, going back to the farmhouse. To Jerem, is that is that a tobacco brand? And where are you at, Mark? Have we talked about that? Please forgive me if I've already asked you. Are you on the Discord, Joseph? Or you can, if you're not on Discord, you can also post it over on the dependableflame.com Facebook group, and we can all see it over there. So, do you consider one to be better than the other, Mark? Is the Exotac better than the Maritac? So, you're talking about some real honest to goodness flint, Professor? Yeah, we were just talking a while ago about Instagram. So you can post over there on Instagram also. If you get on Instagram, look me up, follow me, because I got to be honest, it's not my Instagram just isn't on my radar right at the moment. But I would love for it to be if it can be beneficial and if I can interact with more of you guys on different platforms or whatever. Like I said, I'm pretty much only on TikTok so that I can watch East Waz videos. Yeah. Thank you, Boo Rock. I think I just saw a notification pop up. I didn't actually read it, but I had an Instagram. So hopefully that's some of us connecting over there. Yeah, the craft of extending the fire, Mark. I uh, I had an uncle when I was growing up and going hunting, and then he kind of made that his job. He tended the fire, and so I mean, I really didn't even get the chance or need to help him or anything over the years, but I watched him, and so yeah, it's something I've never really had an issue with. You kind of figure those things out, and like I said, especially if you want to. I've never poured gas on one to start it, and it's really the only time it's an issue is when wood's wet. But a candle can really help you get it started. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I see people saying, talking about. I know that what we call flint is actually our metal, whatever alloy or name it. It's not a natural occurring thing. Um, so I don't know what would happen if you put an actual flint. If you could, cut a flint into the little barrel shapes and put it into a lighter, would it be better, or would it spark better than the ferrocerium that we use today? What is it that they don't read and follow the directions on, Mark? They have a problem. Do they cut the O-rings or something? Hey, no sweat there, Burak. I'm trying to remember. I had a personal Instagram account. I think I mentioned this earlier, but that dependable flame account. I think I've just created that here in the last year. So, and not only that, but I don't even think I've posted anything over there. So I'll try to post some content over there, um, and hopefully I can interact. Like I said, I see your posts on Twitter here and there, but I just haven't been on Twitter enough to actually interact with anybody on Twitter in years. So anyway, glad to check Instagram out if it might be another way that we can all stay connected. uh, yeah, the way you said you'd love some of that, Mark, sounded a little lascivious. Okay, well, yeah, I am technically disabled. I get around pretty good, but I got a shoulder that's uh, really screwed up and hands that are ridden with carpal tunnel and a few other problems. But I get around. I don't consider myself disabled, even if the uh, Office of Personnel Management does. Um, but I am limited. But it's not like and I definitely can't do the job that I used to do. But as far as starting fires, the only thing that would cause me, um, if I had to sit there and wail on a uh, piece of magnesium trying to spark, yeah, my hands would probably go numb. So I guess in that case, my part of my disability would show up. But I just have to take a rest. But that's one reason, like I said, that candles and other things like that can be a real benefit. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I got a couple of those big rods, and they put those even way bigger than regular flints. The strips that um, like they put on the strikers, like the Ronson uh, Bulldog, and oh, you've seen them. There's a whole bunch of different ones where they'll have that big strip of flint that runs down the back. So, but I guess that's all probably technically ferrocerium. So, what do you mean by overfilling them? So they're not following instructions. Are they overfilling them and the lighter is purging fuel, or it is vapor locked? Mark, what happens when they overfill it? It seems to me like I've said this in several of the videos. The Penguin Cygnus, they're pretty much impervious to vapor lock. You might hear that little snap here and there when they light. It gives you a hint of it, but I can't remember. You get a Zippo or a lot of flip top type lighters where you just have to, they get so flooded with vapor up here in the top of the chimney that it just doesn't even give it an opportunity to light. Just keep blowing it out the top, and so that's why they tell you to run it up. That replaces all those vapors with oxygen, and then it'll usually light. Yeah, I guess I don't know what English flint is. You'll have to educate me, Mark. And like I said, I'd like to know what you mean by overfilling. What are the symptoms that occur when they overfill it? Are they getting wet with fuel, or is it vapor locked, or both? Well, that's cool that you built your own crutches. I've never tried to start a fire with a magnifying glass. I've seen plenty of people use gasoline, and I've seen it go bad at least once. And when I was a kid, though, I can remember my grandfather often pouring some gasoline into a paper cup and then tossing it onto the fire when he was having trouble getting it lit. But the trouble usually comes when you try to pour it out of a can, and I've seen that happen, where the fire actually travels up the flow of gasoline coming out of the can. Unfortunately, it's not like it's a canister of something that's under pressure, so it's not usually going to like explode quickly or anything like that. I guess depending on what it's made of, it could possibly explode, but most of them that I've seen just kind of burned out after a long, long time. I'm not even familiar what you guys are talking about a fire piston. I've never heard of that. How does a fire piston work? Okay, so you getting the big flash, what you're talking about, people get, it upsets them that when they overfill it, they get that big flash for a period of time. Yeah, in that case, they need to fill it properly. That happens a lot with Zippos, where flame will travel back up that lid. Okay, so do they still have it in England? Something they have plenty of is it's just easier to use manufactured ferrocerium than it is um, use the actual natural material. Yeah, they're not used to filling petrol lighters for sure. You know, I've gotten a little bit better lately, but I'm telling you, I went on like a 2 year run on this channel where every time I filled up a Zippo or practically any other lighter, I overfilled it. Like fluid leaking all over the table, overfilled it. um, but I think I've gotten a little bit better at it. But I may be underfilling them a little bit these days too, so we'll see. There's an art to filling a petrol lighter, and I've seen instructions from old lighters where, like the information that came with an old lighter, where it tells you to dip it into benzene, which is what I think was basically petrol, or another word for gas. I don't know what the technical, the origin of the word is or anything like that, but I've seen that, where they say dip it into the benzene and then shake it off. So I really do think that most of these lighters were made not necessarily to have it squirted into them, but that they, kind of had a bath of it sitting there that they could just set it down in, let it absorb, then shake it off, insert it back into the case. I don't know. Could be wrong. Or, I've seen those, like the Thorns fuel fillers. It kind of has a spout coming like this. I've definitely seen those, and then they got a pump over here. As a matter of fact, I think East Wall may have posted a video of one of those. If it wasn't East Wall, it was somebody else on Facebook. Anyway, um, but they used to have these, like it would be at a cigar store or these different retail establishments where they would have a way for you to fill your lighter with fuel. So I don't know if one of those methods, rather than it being the squirt in kind, was you just dipped it in, but I've seen instructions. As a matter of fact, it may be what that says on that Thorns right there. Yeah, dip the lighter 30 seconds in a receptacle containing petrol, benzene, or high grade gasoline. So that's what that's saying right there. You can see that over. You can go read that actual document. I can't move that because I got too much stuff attached to it. But if you go over to the dependableflame.com and then hit um, lighters and then hit vintage lighter ephemera, or maybe, yeah, I think that's what it says, vintage lighter ephemera. There's a page for Thorns, and that should be on there. If not, then I need to um, put it on there. So let me go check that. let me see if I can look that up before I send you guys on a wild goose chase. Yeah, vintage lighters, and then lighter ephemera. And once you hit lighter ephemera, you can hit thorns. It'll show you pretty cool double claw, and then both sides of the document that I'm telling you about. Anyway, I know you guys are clamoring to get over there and see that. I just closed off my iPad. I need to open this back up to the chat. Glad so many of you have been able to join today. See back where I was at. I'm glad that you have joined us, Mark, after you leaving so many comments last week. Could tell that you are passionate about lighters, man. As always, I talked about Boo Rock being our first real motivation and encouragement as a subscriber and viewer of our videos. And, we've had others, and several of them at different times and to different levels. Our friend Thwan Nguyen, he commented to me just about every morning for, I don't know, a year or two there. And I haven't heard from him since I kind of slacked off back a few months ago. But I hope Thwan is doing well. He's joined us on a live stream or two. But anyway, like I said, there's been different people as time goes that have really been an inspiration. But now I feel like I'm babbling. I don't remember what my point was. But like I said, with Mark, like I said, with all those people that I just mentioned, Boo Rock and Thwan, and not only that, but Professor and Sean, and there's been a ton of them. Man, I know I'm going to forget some people. Rook Knight, who has his own channel that he's a lock sport guy. You got to get over there and check that out if it sounds cool to you, because he's got a really cool channel too. But like I said, there have been different people at different times. Our friend Montas Chabi Bulinas, I think was how his name was. His last name went. Montas was commenting every morning, so it's been good to have you guys along for the ride, and a lot of encouragement, and like I said, it really is. You create friends here on the internet, and that's really all we do here. Try to do every week is get together and talk about the lighters that we all love so much. And specifically this week, I wanted to give you guys the update on how the new insert was going, which A plus from me. And I think I'm going to, as soon as we get off here, as soon as I can get my phone charged back up, that's the reason we end up having to get off every week, is I got to have the microphone plugged in where the phone charges, so I don't really have any way to keep it charged while we do this. So when the battery goes, then we're just done. And that's usually sometime a little after the 2 hour mark. Anyway, I'm going to make this video, I'm going to try to, of how some of these different inserts and whether or not they're all interchangeable from one case to another. Because I've already detected one insert out of the boxes and Zippos that you see up here that will not go into one of these cases, which kind of surprised me. So I hadn't had a chance to get them all together yet, so I'm just going to go ahead and video that while I do it. Like I said, I just wish I had the 35, the actual, I know that one's different, the 35 replica, and I'm not sure about the 32 and 33 replica that there have been a few different editions of. I'm not sure if that takes the same inserts or not. Okay, you say a fire piston works like a diesel engine. A piston compresses air and heats it up. So, how is this thing? What activates this thing? What activates this piston? And you say ferro rods work very different from flint. When you say ferro rods work different from flint, you're talking about the English flint y'all were talking about? And by ferro rods, you mean the hour metal or ferrocerium quotation mark flints that we use today? Huh, interesting. Yeah, I'd like to. So when you say, you're saying then that the ferrocerium is way better than the actual flint. Have you ever used Dunhill blue flints, Mark? And if so, can you tell me why they're so much better? I have a feeling they may be that 4,000 that you're talking about. Isn't that funny, Naphtha? How some people, you say benzene is slang for gas, which I understand, but for some people, gas sounds like liquid, and other people, gas is butane. It's these terms that get used that, they really don't have any meaning, um, because they get used on both sides. So, do you think? I mean, is it legitimate to use gas both as butane and petrol? I guess it's just not a differentiating word. It's a more broad term. Yeah, maybe Mark. I may be able to get something. No, Boo Rock, you don't need to thank me at all, my friend. Like I said, you have been a great encouragement to me, and like I said, especially that message that you wrote. I think over on Twitter. May be wrong. It may have been an email, um, but it really kind of codified for me um, that what I was doing was I was on the right path. And like I said, ZF77 definitely had a hand in getting me on that path too. Um, but that's really what I was trying to accomplish was, being a daily part of people's day. And like I said, I hope that I can get back to buying enough lighters and fixing them and flipping them and or whatever, moving them on, or if they're Cygnus, collecting them, whatever, um, that I can get back to publishing every day again. But right now, I am enjoying the writing that I'm doing over on the website. Figured out a creative way or two to do that. Anyway, okay, you say the ferro, the alloy is scraped apart and causes the sparks. And if I understand correctly, the flint scrapes the steel and the steel. Ah, okay. Interesting. So you're talking about some pretty fine calipers there, Mark? You can't take it somewhere to a tool shop and get them to measure it for you? Yeah, I hear you, Mark. I don't know that. Is that a channel you're talking about? What'd you say? Survival on Purpose YouTube? Is that what it's called? I'll try to remember to check that out. Yeah, now I'm drawing a blank. That's why you're talking about the piezo, Azrael. I'm not a fan of the piezo. And Mark, yeah, I might need to check into that. But I figure after a couple hours, you guys are probably about ready to get back to your day as well. A lot of times I was fine to keep talking, but like I said, I'm pretty, not completely free because I have had a lot of grandpa duty lately. So that's one thing that will definitely preempt me from doing this. But no, I'm going to keep trying to do this. Hopefully, we can all get. Now, I think Professor talked about trying to do one on a different day of the week, and I know. I think I missed one from ZF77 this past week, so hopefully, some others will consider doing live streams as well. Okay, I got you. That's what I was wondering. So you're squeezing something with this fire piston. You're kind of fanning it with your squeeze. Now, is a fire piston something that you can go buy, or do you have to make it? Excuse me. I don't know if they run out faster. They may, but man, there's no doubt that they put out a superior shower of sparks. Yeah, if you ever got a lighter that you just feel like, man, this thing really seems like it's working right. It's just not quite the spark you would expect. Try a Dunhill Blue Flint in it. I can't remember now who the viewer subscriber was that told me that, and I was, it was he commented on a video about the Dunhill Blue where I was talking about how I thought it was better, and he said I've started using it in my Ronsons that just don't seem like they're quite there, and sure enough, most of the time you put that Dunhill Blue Flint in it, then it's just like maybe the file wheel or the spring tension or what is just a little bit off from what it should be, but maybe too dirty or too old file, fragments caught up in it. But with that Dunhill Blue, it'll still put out whatever a good shower of sparks. Yeah, there you go. Maybe both of you guys need to do live streams. Um, Burak, I don't remember ever having a seller cancel on me afterward. Uh, no, I take that back. I do. They messaged me. I can't even remember now for sure what it was. I remember there being a case lighter in it, but it sold, and it sold for like the minimum that they had listed it for, and I paid just like you're saying. And they got a hold of me and they said the lighter's broke, so we're not gonna be able to send it. And I said, well, I don't really care if that lighter's broke. It's not really why I bought it, and it wasn't. Um, I just want, I would like that lighter, but what I really bought it for was this. Well, they canceled the whole thing on me, and I never saw it show back up, but I can't even remember now what the other lighters were that I was actually wanting. But yeah, I have had that happen to me. And I can't remember if I contacted eBay support or tried to complain to anybody or not, but if I did, it didn't make a difference. I do remember that. I didn't get, I did not get those lighters. You did get your money back, didn't you? Well, I know what you're saying, Mark. I'm the same way. I always want to have my own tools, especially if it's something. But I'm just saying, if you, um, um, if you don't have if it's not easy to find what you're looking for right now, or can't afford it, or whatever, you might try, you know, a shop, machine shop, or even a jewelry store. Where they actually do work with metal and stuff. They probably have that kind of tools as well. What time did you do it late at night? I thought one night that I saw, or I thought it was during the day. What time was that? There was one time that I got a notification, and I thought I clicked on it as soon as I got it, but by the time I got over there, it was already. I don't even remember. I don't think there was even. Was there? I can't remember. It seemed like the link was dead, like it wasn't available anymore, or said it was private. But I could be wrong about that. It could have been that I got over there and even watched part of it, but you were already off. I was just seeing the archived version, but I think it wasn't available. Yeah, I've done it a few times talking to myself, and I had a buddy here a while back who said, "Hey, if you just let me know if nothing going on or if nobody's showing up, and I'll get on." I said, "Well, it's one reason why I have stuff in front of me that I'm, you know, not necessarily a project, but at least something to show off or some lighters that I can fuel up." But you know, uh, give me a heads up if you're gonna get on, and I know for sure. Then I may not be able to listen, but I can at least I can get on and give you a thumbs up. I can well, no, I can put most of the time. I could at least put my what do you call it? The buds in my ears. But what time was it when you said late? What are we talking about? I'm usually in bed no later than 11. Man, if I'd have been doing this back when I was a drunk, this would have been so great. Um, I'd have been on here all night, every night. The way I used to call and wake up all my friends. Yeah, see, so if you got the refund, then I don't know, man. What was it? Is it something you feel pretty bad about not getting? I mean, did it was something you got a pretty good deal on, or something you'd really been looking for a while, or it is unfortunate. And like I said, in my case, I knew it was just because they did not want to accept the money that I was going to pay. They wanted more. Um, but did they at least give you some kind of legitimate reason? Yeah, yeah, that sucks, man. What kind of park lighter was it? I'm wondering if I've had a couple that I was bidding on. One set with it was a lighter, and it seems like it was silver and red tone, and then the tape measure that came in like a gift box with it was The same, red tone, red anodized. Did you see that one? That one ended up going for like 15 or $16 plus, with the shipping included when you add the shipping in. And I mean, they just barely. That was, I think I'd bid. Well, they had like five something for shipping. I'd bid like just under $11, I think, or maybe just over. Man, I'd love to have gotten it for that money though. I love those park lighters. Yeah, that does suck though. I'm glad you got the refund that quick though. But yeah, that's probably what it was. If they didn't give you any reason, it was probably just they didn't think they got enough out of it. Yeah, 11 p.m. You're going to be right on the edge of most nights. I'm out by then, no doubt. If you get on there, probably the optimal time for me in the evening is 9:30. I got about an hour there sometimes where um, it didn't really matter if there's any other sound in the room or not. I can put earphones in, or the TV doesn't have to be on. Yeah, yeah. I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't know if they'll do anything. But it is unfortunate, yeah, and it has happened to me. That's the only time that I've had some really squirrely stuff happen. There've been two times. I don't even remember what the first lighter was. I think I wrote an article about this a couple years ago. But there was. I remember selling a bulldog striker, a Ronson bulldog striker, where they filed a. They sent me an email. They didn't file the claim. They didn't file the claim. They sent me an email requesting a refund. Um, After it was delivered, everything good, they claimed that the head of the bulldog was caved in by the wand, which I didn't even think was physically possible. And so that's what I emailed them and told them. And the other time that it happened to me, where a buyer basically seemed to be messaging me and trying to bluff me into believing that the lighter that they had just paid, a pretty good amount of dollars. It seemed like both of them were at least around the $100 mark. that that lighter had been so damaged in um, somehow in transit that they needed a full refund. And I just sent them back and requested pictures each time. And that was the last I heard from either one of them. But there's people out there that'll fish for refunds like that for sure. And just as crappy as those people like you're talking about, Burak, who you win an auction that you devote your time to following that. They're the ones that posted it on there for sale, and then they cancel the sale after you spend all that time stalking that lighter down. You gonna email me the photo or post it over on Instagram? Or I haven't been able to get over. I think you guys may have been already in contact over there since we've been on here, but I haven't had a chance to get over there and look at it. Yeah, it's one of those things, man. I think a lot of people uh, who might be interested to do something like this don't do it because they're afraid that the minute they do, everybody they know is going to see it. Um, I haven't made a secret to any of my family or friends or any of that of what I'm doing. Um, but I also haven't promoted what I do on my personal Facebook page, or if somebody asks me, then I'll tell them. If somebody wants to ask, there've been a few people that got a hold of me, wanted to buy a lighter for a gift for Christmas for one of their loved ones, or this or that. So I'm glad to help, and I'll send people links if it'll help them to know how to fill their lighter or whatever. Um, Just completely lost what my point was. Oh, but what my point, you're talking about leaving the stream up, is hopefully we're not doing anything on here that's embarrassing, right? I'm not. Hopefully, I'm not making a fool out of myself, or you know whatever. Like I said, back during my drinking days, all bets would have been off. But you know, I think that I've gotten it several times in the comment section of our videos, where people compliment the channel and say that it is wholesome content. And I believe that. And I hope that that's the same thing that we're presenting here on the live stream. So, um, whether or not there's a ton of people watching it, so far there have definitely not been a ton of people watching. But the live streams do just as well or better than the daily videos. There'll end up being, you know, somewhere, at least double digit people that like the archive of this stream. And, it might get viewed 100 times, would be pretty good. But so people like Dylan, he's told me that he likes having it available so that when he's at work, he can go back during a certain time and watch it, or when he's on his lunch, whatever, he can go back and see the archive at a later time. So I think there's valid reasons to leave them up. I don't think it hurts anything. Like I said, especially as long as you're not doing anything embarrassing. Don't be getting out in the front of the camera in your underwear or anything there. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the new stuff anyway, Mark. These replicas are newer. All this stuff is newer. Yeah, all the stuff that I use. But most of the Zippos that I've owned over the years have been older ones that, you know, were, not near so new, and also, maybe damaged in some ways. But, really, some of them rare lighters. The black crackles, those aren't really rare, but they're part of history. I had three of those. Had a late 40s three barrel sterling silver. Um, Had a 1949 or 50 Town and Country Geese. That's the lighter that I sold for the most money so far. Most one single lighter. Um, so anyway, yeah, I think it's a cool idea, and I saw the other day on that Deal or No Deal page that somebody had posted a picture of or posted for sale for I don't remember if it was a blue or a blue 2. It may have been a blue 2, but it was it sterling? It was something similar. It had two-tone. It seems like it was sterling and copper. Maybe it was sterling and brass, or I can't remember. But it was a blue, and maybe a blue 2, that was similar like that. And I think it's kind of cool, but yeah, the price that they're charging for it, no. But I'm not that kind of Zippo collector that I even consider buying the collectible of the year or the founder's lighter or any of that kind of stuff. Man, I wish I had that kind of disposable income. I'd be using it to, um, I'd probably be using it on things other than um, new Zippo lighters if I did have that money. The greatest fun for me is buying lighters in large groups where there might not be a single lighter in there that the seller even identifies in the listing. And depending on the pictures, you may have varying degrees of competition for those kinds of listings, but those are definitely the funnest ones to buy, and you know, the most projects that you find within, because there's always degraded flint, and that's really what this channel is about. Is um, really the function, and so that's where we get off into the fuel and the um, the butane insert and all that, because we do work on them. At least the petrol side of it. But yeah, I don't own that many new Zippo products. I haven't owned that many. But just like I said, I'm not a detractor of the lighter itself. It's just the price. I think it's kind of a cool looking lighter. I think it would be kind of cool to have. It'd be really cool to have. But I don't have the money to buy it. Yeah. Yeah, it's that's the key to me about something like this. You don't really ever want to um, build something that you're trying to do as a business, or even if it was just especially if it was just a hobby, but as a business, especially, if it's something that you're going to make money off of, then, I'm not a fan of you pushing that to your family. But I have had, over the course of the last, 6 years that I've been doing this, I've had people ask me at times, so I'll send them a link or give them a card, whatever. And so I do have a few people who follow me. Maybe I know my daughter follows the Facebook page, and another friend or two. And as far as who's subscribed to the YouTube channel, I don't know. I see the people. I see who, or I can see who subscribes when they have it set to where their YouTube shows the channels that they're subscribed to. If you have your account set that way, then the person can see it when you subscribe if they have it. Well, I don't know if I have to have it set that way or not. Maybe you can always see that in the back office of that channel being subscribed to. Um, anyway, I'm getting distracted again. Oh yeah, but you don't really want to build a channel. Now I'm getting the low battery warning, so last call here. Don't be surprised if we're off in the next, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes. Um, but as far as building a channel like that, yeah, you don't want to do that off your family. You want to do that off people who genuinely value the content, the videos, the articles, the links, whatever it is that you're supplying, the instructions, that's my biggest value, is helping people take this old lighter that they just found in Grandpa's drawer after he died, and they want to go use it. And if you're at least, you know, if you can drive a car, you can probably drill out a flint tube, or with a little bit of patience, you could probably wick a lighter. It's not that difficult. If you mow your yard or brush your teeth, or it doesn't require that much skill. You just need to, just like me, when I need to replace a bulb in my Jeep, um, I don't go buy a book like my dad used to do. There used to be a book for whatever. Chilton's book would tell you everything. Whatever, if you're changing out the alternator, or give you a schematic of all. But the same thing for all the bulbs and any other maintenance you might have to do. Well, nowadays you just go on YouTube and somebody will show you how to do it. And once you see it done, it's usually not that difficult. So that's that's the value that I provide. But like I said, it also has taken us some time to get some traction, because the YouTube channel's grown pretty quick. Just like the followers on eBay, the people that follow the eBay store, or my eBay username, whichever it is, that has always been kind of off the charts compared to what I look at other people with similar, um, been on eBay for similar amount of time and sold a similar amount of items. But the Facebook thing, with about 60 in the group at this point and almost 200 on the page, that feels substantial compared to how long it really took for that to get some traction. So I hope that it keeps to build up steam. I hope all those things can continue to grow, and especially it's all kind of, my success really is all depends on well, there's a lot of ways I can have success, but one of them is, traffic to the website. Well, yeah, that's good too, Professor, that your dad watches. You guys, some of you would be familiar with my buddy David Wallace, who's shown up in the chat here a time or two, and that's his. I guess that's his real first name. I'm not sure, but that's my buddy Shane that I've known since I was uh, before I was a teenager. I don't know, 10 or 11 years old, maybe. And yeah, he's not here all the time, but it's always cool when somebody shows up. And even if they want to participate, there's nothing wrong with that. That's a far different thing, though, from you posting what you're trying to do there out to all your family, and they don't want to see that any more than you want to see all their political posts. An armor solid silver, yeah. I've had I mentioned the 47 or late 40s, 3 barrel sterling silver that I had. I also had a um, late 50s, early 60s. It had the name Gordon something. First name or last name Gordon. There's a YouTube video of that one. There is not a YouTube video of the 3 barrel, but there are some little snippets in some videos. Um, I can't remember where I've used those at. Maybe on TikTok. I can't remember if I've used those in any YouTube videos or not. I really wish I'd started making videos of lighters before I did. I'm glad that I stepped it up when I did and, started trying to take more advantage, make more content out of them. But I really missed an opportunity with some lighters that were really cool. And, some of the coolest lighters I ever had, I don't even have videos of, or they're just a minute long with country music playing in the background. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I got plenty of. I am legitimately retired, and at the same time, I'm trying to make a success out of this whole thing and the website, and the YouTube channel has been the greatest part of it so far. But I'm pretty busy with my family a lot these days too, and that's a good thing. And I'm glad I've got the leeway, the discretion that I can do that when it's time to do that. Because most of my life I didn't have that opportunity. I was dependent on when the post office told me that I could take the leave that I had earned, and the further on in my career that got, that was you had to have leave draw to even get vacation. It's ridiculous. But yeah, I'm glad to have the opportunities that I have today. Good afternoon, Big John. It's been a while. I think I mentioned you last week. Yeah, Waylon and Willie, Mark. My buddy Shane, that I was just talking about, his son's name is Waylon. What do you mean? What do you? I need to read this again. Hold on a second, Mark. You say, I recommend a friend on Facebook to the group from my ancestral home in Louisiana. Oh, you're saying you recommended them to the dependableflame.com group? Cool. I appreciate that. Yeah. And like I said, you guys feel free to, if you just want to share something over there. It's weird sometimes that I don't get, for me having two different Facebook profiles that get notifications that, for that page and group, it seems like it's very slow to give me notifications. Um, but I appreciate every time that you guys post, and I'll I'll be over there responding as soon as I see them, or as soon as I know they're there. But I probably need to get better about just checking on the page on a consistent basis anyway. But yeah, I definitely try to post a link over there when we publish a YouTube video. I need to get more consistent with that, so I've kind of got a backlog. Also, I post a link over there when I publish an article or story on the website. And then, like I said, too, I've been sharing from some of the other Facebook profiles that allow shares, like the Lighter Club of Great Britain. They've got their posts set to where you can share them. And one of those matchbook groups, it may have been the one that Tom O'Key created, or it may have been it may have the word Wrath Camp in the name. Anyway, so you'll see if you get over there to the group, you'll see some of that stuff. Well, I wasn't on for a couple of weeks there, John, so that may have made it even a little bit more difficult. But yeah, we have done it last week and now again this week. So hopefully, like I kind of warned everybody last week, it's definitely not going to be hard scheduled on a Tuesday every week. It's probably going to be kind of fly by the seat of my pants. Could be any day, Monday through Friday. But I think for the time being, I am at least going to try to publish a video every Tuesday morning. And then the only time that I may not publish that video on Tuesday morning would be if I plan on doing a live stream that day. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I could have a pile of lighters drop into my lap tomorrow, and then I'm back to publishing videos every morning. Who knows? But yes, John, nice to see you. Glad to have you back. Yeah, it's pretty big. You can't turn it down, but it's about what I like for what I'm using it for. I like there are times when I really need the hard blue flame, but a more substantial a soft flame with a little more oomph is what I'm generally after. So far, yeah, I'm thrilled with it. The only thing I'm kind of curious about, I fueled it for a little bit longer this time because it um, it only lasted about 4.5, 5 days. It lasted from Friday afternoon, late Friday afternoon, early Friday evening, and it was out by Tuesday. So maybe just 4 days. It was a little over that because it was late Tuesday. And you'll see in the video that'll publish. I don't know. I guess I'll have to decide if I'm gonna wait and publish that next Tuesday or put it out before then. But I made a video right before this that where I refueled it, and you could still see it had a little bit of gas in it. But that's my only question so far is even if that's the case, 4 days, I'm good with that. If I know that, I can pump fuel in it every 3 days. Um, because I can't. This is much easier to work with to ignite what I'm smoking than a Zippo. Even in the wind, this is way better. Zippo's horrible in the wind. The petrol. Scottish, Irish, and Cajun. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I had my ancestry thing done a few years ago, and there was definitely a lot of different stuff in there. There might have been some Scottish or Irish, definitely some English. There was some, I don't know, one of the Nordic countries. I can't remember exactly. Yeah, I don't know, John. I've been using the Vector pretty much exclusively. I bought this 3 or 4 tubes of it on Amazon a few years ago, and at the time I had a tube or two of Ronsonol floating around, and I don't know if there's any fuel or if those are even still around, but I haven't put them in anything. The Vector definitely, it didn't seem to function very well in the Zippo single flame. It was wonky almost from the start, um, but it seemed to work great in this one. No complaints so far in with the yellow flame butane insert. Have you seen the pipe soft flame or yellow insert? I think I might be interested in trying that one. Yeah, I'll have to check it here because I don't. I haven't been. Um, I just haven't been lighting up as much as I used to. But I still do a pretty good amount that I'm flicking it several times a day. But like I said, here lately, I know I bet I did it just to light it at least as many times as I used it over that last filling. So we'll see. It may take me a while here to hit the sweet spot and see exactly how long it'll last. But yeah, so far, man, I'm telling you, I couldn't be happier. I love it. I mean, I really want to buy another one so that I could just always change them out. Always have one fueled up. Just have a spare already fueled. Like the Ring camera battery. I've already got that new one charged by the time the next one goes out. Yeah, it's an interesting thing. I've had cousins who swore they were American Indians that they weren't, and of course I do have Indian blood, and it's on a different side of the family. But my brothers and I, um, our DNA results kind of conflicted. So, and my mom hasn't. She bought one for herself at the same time that same Christmas, but has never done it. So, I think it would straighten it out. I think if they had the entire puzzle to put together, they would. My brothers and mine would probably make more sense. But just without her piece of the puzzle, um, I'm not. I wouldn't be sure that we were brothers. I'm just kidding. I'm sure we're brothers, but like I said, some strange DNA results. It's kind of fun though to see it. Like I said, I don't remember exactly what it was. I remember there being some Swedish or Swiss or something, um, and some other European countries. I guess that's a European country too. I just when I think of Europe, I think of like England, France, or maybe I should say Great Britain or the United Kingdom, France, Germany. I don't know. I'm not a geography expert. Yeah, I think that pipe insert might be worth checking out, John. It looks pretty cool to me. Yeah, as far as the flint in the bottom, I could see how with that being recessed like it is, if you use your fingernail, it would. I got one of these cheap. Well, no, I guess that one isn't so cheap. Not that they're expensive, but they are good quality. The Craftsman. Those tools that you get at Harbor Freight or Steve's Wholesale, they just seem a little bit less quality. But this screwdriver, which is, I don't know, a little bit bigger than what you would consider a precision, it works pretty well in it. I prefer to just use my thumbnail, but yeah, may not be able to with that one. Probably not. I am going to enjoy using it in this vintage look without the slashes here for a while. Well, I am going to go ahead and bid you guys farewell for today. And glad that everybody has been able to join us. Those that were not, Zippo Daily Fix, Sean, Eastwa, Doomflam. We did have J-Ro Lights here today. And Dylan DePie, Mark Burris, the professor, Boo Rock Beer, our friend from way back. I'm telling you, Boo Rock Beer was probably in. He was probably in our first 100 or 150 subscribers way back. So I appreciate visiting with all you guys. Glad to see NAFTA again and Azrael. And I'm getting better about keeping up over on Discord, so feel free to hit me up over there. And I'll try to follow up with you guys on Instagram. And like I said, all of you, feel free to post over on the dependableflame.com group on YouTube. Yeah, I may try to keep doing them here around the middle of the day if I can. 10 o'clock is kind of a rush for me to get ready sometimes. Today I was actually able to go and pick up some groceries over, pretty far north from here compared to where I live right here in Mesta Park. But then on my way back, I I passed some signs on the way over there that said sale. And I thought, well, maybe I ought to turn. And I didn't when I came back. And I got to thinking, I got some messages earlier in the week from a friend of mine that I went to junior high and high school with. And he'd been to an estate sale. And he ended up paying $2 for, I don't know, about a half a dozen lighters. One of them, which was a Mexican sterling silver um, lift arm lighter. Anyway, he had about a dozen there. A Ready Light tube lighter that still looked like it had all its paint. He said he paid $2 a piece for these half a dozen, and then a uh, Ronson Grecian touch tip lighter that he just had to drill the degraded flint out of, and he paid $10 for it. So I got to thinking about him, and so I turned around and I went back to the garage sale, and it was actually kind of encouraging because compared to most times where they have nothing that I'm even interested in, this one there was a kind of an interesting brass ashtray there. It's just the motif that was featured on it wasn't something that I was interested in buying or showing off. But anyway, um, like I said, it's kind of hard at 10 o'clock. I feel like I'm really rushed to get my coffee made and sit down and relax and be ready to go. So I think I'll probably continue to try at 11 or maybe even a little bit later. But like I said last week, we'll try to get it in every week. I just don't know for sure that day. But I will. I do want to thank another friend I don't have his name. His first name is Burak too. His last name I believe is Kamek. Anyway, who contacted me on Facebook Messenger this week and asked me to leave a notification there on the community page on YouTube, and to do that as early as possible. And I'll try if I can to do that even in the day in advance. But like I said, a lot of times I just don't know for sure that I'm going to be able to do it even until the day of. But anyway, I'll try to keep you guys notified, and hopefully we can stay in touch and discuss these little fire making machines that we all love so much during the summer when everybody is so much more busy. Yeah, man, I've gotten to where I was kind of upset today. I shop over at Winco most of the time. I go to all of them depending on what I need. Some of the stuff I'll get at Crest. No, I don't go. That's one I don't go to is Crest, Walmart, and Sam's Club. Those are the two other major ones, Walmart and Sam's Club, where I buy certain things at. But Winco has been the place for avocados. But when I got over there today, they'd gone up quite a bit in price. 68 cents a piece, where they'd been 50 cents all summer, and sometimes even three for a dollar. Now, or not all summer, all winter. Now all of a sudden, avocados are more expensive. I don't understand that. But anyway, I got I got some the avocados that I needed and some other essentials. We've talked before about me not eating carbs and sugar, and I have kind of eaten some more carbs. My whole goal was really just not to be binging on sugar like I had, and it was hard to justify, at least in my mind. It was easy to argue with myself about eating the sugar while I was still eating all the carbs. So I just cut all of them out. But anyway, now I'm kind of being a little bit more lenient with some of the carbs, especially if they're maybe a little bit more healthy carbs. But I'm still not I'm still not eating anything that has added sugar. And there's something I won't even eat fruit. But one of the best things that I've come up with is just making my own peanut butter out of roasted peanuts and butter and the erythritol sweetener. It is outstanding. Every bit as good as the chocolate cake I made the video about. I've made another video or two that I just never got around to editing. Roasting nuts and things like that. I don't know if I'll ever get around to that or not. But there are definitely some ways that you can eat if you have a sweet tooth and you like eating sweet tasting things, but you don't want um, there's a lot of studies that say that that's where a lot of the inflammation in people comes from is the sugar and the carbs, once again, but the way they're processed. But, you know, with these erythritol, and some of them are mixed with stevia or monk fruit, but these sweeteners, man, you can really make some really sweet tasting stuff that doesn't have the impact of sugar, the negative impact on your health. Anyway, yeah, John, it's good for sure. Man, I haven't eaten avocado my whole life. I haven't been averse to it, but I was introduced to guacamole sometime in my 20s. But here, just in the last 10 years, I got to where I really like it, mashing some of it up and having on a burger or with my omelet, a little salt, pepper, maybe garlic in there. Yeah, I eat pretty good for somebody that I get accused of abusing myself all the time. Yeah, that's one thing, man. I'm right here in the heart of Oklahoma City, so it's not like anything is just next door except for, you know, that kind of stuff, walking kind of stuff, places to eat, um, parks, things like that. So it's cool as far as that kind of thing. But like if you need to shop, there's one grocery store that's even close, and you're gonna pay because you didn't have to drive. So yeah, there's not a Walmart within uh, 2 or 3 miles of me, but there's probably 15 of them within 10 miles of me. Just kind of the consequence of urban living. But anyway, John, glad that you have joined us. Glad that you are all here this week, and I look forward to um, talking to you throughout the week in the comments section, over in the Facebook group or page, dependableflame.com. We talked about the Pinterest page, um, Twitter. Nobody ever checks the Twitter, so don't worry too much about that one. Um, but the Facebook group, that's something that, like I said, gets pretty good amount of traffic, and um, every time I post, it gets likes now. Where used to there wasn't really anybody in the group, so there wasn't that many people to see it. So anyway, but we'll get together again next week, sometime here around the middle of the day. Joseph, glad that you joined us again. Until next time.